I'm sure you guys are very familiar with the concept of a Gundam. It's essentially a huge battle mech that is piloted by a person, and how cool would it be if I could make my very own in Trailmakers? If you're not familiar with Trailmakers, Trailmakers is a building block vehicle game where you take individual pieces and make some insane creations. And I'm going to be taking this Exo Skeleton that I had one of the best builders in this game make for me. Shout out to Michael969 for making this awesome prototype, and this is gonna be the inner workings of my very own Gundam. Now this Gundam is complete with a bunch of already working functionality. So if I look around here, you can see that I have a hover mode. I can tilt the build in any direction to fly and hover in that direction. It's animated pretty well, and we also have a better flight mode where we're out of the hover mode and we can essentially fly like Iron Man. Pretty cool. But we're here today to turn this into our very own battle mech Gundam. Let's get into it. Okay, so the process for this is going to be pretty simple. All I essentially need to do is like bulk it up with armor. So first thing I need to do is cover this seat here, and I'm going to use some wedges for that. I think that looks pretty good. All battle mechs have like a really cool like chest armor, you know? Gonna use these rounded pieces here to just kind of, you know, give it some kind of abs, I guess. They kind of look like abs. And moving on to the pecs of this mech, I'm gonna use these inverted corner pieces like this. And finally, I think we should use a 1x2 piece here. Yeah, there we go. Looking snazzy already. I want to make the top of the torso look a little bit more flush for the hip section here. So to do that, I'm going to use some more wedges. Wedges are literally my best friend right now. Okay, that's pretty good. I'm actually going to rotate this logic gate so we can hide the, you know, the logic side of that block. And now I'm going to work on the lower section here. So I want to, again, cover the gaps left in the actual frame. So there's a gap from this gyro stabilizer. Let's just cover that up really quick. Also, there's a bunch of like colored segments on this frame to tell me what I can do. So everything with a red decal on can actually be replaced. I can replace it with a block if I choose so. However, if it has a black side like that, I cannot put any blocks there because I will interfere with the, you know, the creation and the animations that it has. Well, I am very happy with this hip section so far. The back is not covered yet, but I'm thinking of a special feature that I'm going to add on the end here, but I won't reveal what it is just yet. Really, I could just take this exoskeleton and make it my own, which is awesome to have that freedom, you know? With the addition of these two wedges here, just on the outer edges of the hip section here, they're actually connected onto the servo, so they will turn with the leg. I just think it gives it a little bit more dynamic. It just looks cooler, right? Moving on to the butt of the mech, I guess you could say we're going to add some more wedges because I want to have like some kind of pieces flare off the back. Not like a tail. I don't really know how to describe it. It's just gonna look cool, guys. Trust the process. And with the addition of these pieces, I am happy with the, I guess you could say the midsection of my Gundam. Now it's time to work on the legs. All I really gotta do is focus on one leg and perfect it, and I can just copy it to the other side. And again, wedges are my best friend here. On a Gundam, they really have like cool looking legs. I don't know why, they just look so appealing. They just have really cool, almost like giant armored boots, you know? Gives me a very medieval vibe. So I want to try and capture that in my Gundam by having a like protruding section here with a boot sticking out. I guess I can just use more of these wedges. I guess I'm free to make like any modification I want because this block here, which is necessary for the function of the exoskeleton, is just, I don't know. I don't like it here, so what I'm going to do is actually move it to the back and figure out a way how to connect it, and I guess I'm completing the shoe here. Every Gundam needs some awesome shoes, am I right, guys? And to complete the shoe, I can just use some shield pieces here to really just hide most of the engine here, the dragon engine, the dragon jet. I still think the leg is looking a little skinny, so I think I'm going to bulk it up again with some more blocks. And with that, I think we have hit the spot. But there's one more thing I want to do. Just for some further detail, we're going to go into our accessories and connect a flat eye piece onto these two joints here to just make it look a little bit more epic. And it also gives the illusion that these parts rotate. Now that that leg's done, let's copy it across to the other side. Well, I gotta say I am very happy with the Gundam so far, so let's actually take a break from building here and give it a little test. I know adding these blocks give it a little bit more weight, but let's just see if we can still function, and we can indeed still function. This is truly awesome, guys. Just to give you a little bit more insight on how this mech works, it is not a walking mech, it is purely for flying. It's just programmed to have a flying animation and stuff. It cannot walk like a bipedal mech, but honestly, I'm happy with a flying Gundam. Next, we need to work on the shoulders and the arms of this mech. And it wouldn't be a Gundam without having some awesome looking shoulder pad armor. I think this is perfect. And with all those pieces, I have a decent looking Gundam arm, but we're not finished yet. As we can see, our fist area is looking a little flat. And to fix that, I'm actually going to use an accessory with the sharp air intake here. And I think having that in this position like that makes a pretty cool, seamless top of a fist for my Gundam. We can still fly with that arm, and it doesn't affect the animation, so I'm happy with that. All we have to do now is copy the same thing across to the other side. And there we go, we have the second arm in place. With the addition of a few wedges and some rounded corner pieces, I can start working on one of the features I've been really wanting to add to this thing, and that is a Gundam style jetpack. I am aware that the Gundam is getting a little heavy, so I've added these 3 space thrusters pointing towards, you know, the inside of the Gundam, so when it's flying on its belly, like Iron Man, these will provide some upwards thrust to keep me from being too front heavy. It's a fine balance between making this look good and actually remembering to make it function well. Now I'm going to assign 4 thrusters for the extra lift from the jetpack, and we're just going to stack them like this. I'm going to put a rounded piece here to complete the design. However, it is not connected because I've left some space inside the jetpack here to actually add some gyro stabilizers so I can have a little bit more controllability over the flight mode when using this thing. And finally, to clean off the jetpack just a little bit more, we're going to use some more accessories. I'm really obsessed with using these intake pieces here, and I think we're going to use some front grills on the side just to cover up that little gap. And wow, yeah, that looks like a jetpack. All right, that is cool. Now this Gundam is looking fine so far, however, it is pretty obvious it's missing something. It's missing its head, so let's get into building that. And I'm going to just try and make a head as simple as I can, because the size of the head compared to the body might not make sense if I make it too detailed. So I'm just gonna go for a very minimalistic style head here, where I'm gonna use these as those little Gundam horn things or antennas. I don't know what they are. They have them. They look really cool. And finally, once again, using this same intake piece. And honestly, this piece alone is clutching up this build, making it look so awesome. I am very happy with the shape of this thing. The last thing I need to do is hook up the jetpack into the original logic of the frame here. And finally, after copious amounts of wedges, blocks, and air intakes, it seems, we have made our Gundam. The jetpack is all hooked up to the logic, so let me give this a little test. And wow, we hover really well, in fact. Let's try the other flight mode here. And yep, we're zooming. This is awesome. I could actually hit like a top speed of 150 miles per hour in this thing. I am very, very much happy with my Gundam. The last thing I need to do is give this a paint job and on to the glamour shots. Just want to give a quick shout out to all the members. Thank you so much for joining the channel. It definitely helps me out a lot with making content. And also, I hope I inspired you all to make your very own Gundam style mech. In fact, I'm actually going to upload the original Exo Skeleton for you guys. So I'm going to upload this blueprint, Exo Skeleton for Gundam brackets Yzuei, and obviously in the description is the original creator Mikey. And maybe you can upload your Gundams back to the workshop so I can check them out in a future video. Here's a variant I made with a sword and a shield. But anyway, that's enough from me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!